guys, it's Sarah. Welcome back to another video here on my channel. Today we are doing a different take on my island tours. We're going to be visiting Matilda's island of Alcatraz, and we're really visiting Alcatraz. So this tour is going to be different than how I normally do mine. Instead of doing a walkthrough where I talk to you guys, I'm going to be voicing over this video with my footage because this island is pretty unique, as you're going to see. And Matilda, this is a place that she visited with her boyfriend, and it was really special to her. So there's a lot of history that she knows and a lot of history that she poured into the build, and I just wanted to do as much respect to that as I could. So as you can see, this is the island as we're going to be viewing it. It is literally Alcatraz Island. It is so freaking cool, guys. There are not going to be any villager houses that we can see or get to. Well, technically we can see them. We can't get to them though. They're not part of the build. And you'll see that as we move along. But we're going to jump in this little, how cute is this? It's one of the little Mario pipes and it's going to take us over to Alcatraz. I'm so excited. You guys are going to love this. If you're like me and you like history and just really interesting builds, I mean, this is one of the most unique islands I've ever been to. It's so on theme. It's literally a destination island. It's just the coolest thing. Matilda, you did such an amazing job. The code she used, just everything about it, so cool. So we're going to get started and wander around. This is us landing at the port as you would if you come on to Alcatraz Island. You can see the way that Matilda dug out the water around it, which I just think is so cool. There's so many little details that she put in that just make this feel like such a cool, unique place. So as you come across and you're going over the water, you're going to see that we're kind of at the harbor itself. And there's lots of little details that she included here that I just think are so cute. Oh, it's such a pretty place, and I love that it's raining. It just really goes with the ambiance of the whole thing. So we've got all these little details over here on this little dock section. I love the rope fencing. I think it's such a cute touch. And then we've got almost like a little gift shop right here, a little info stand. You can get your merch. I love the little prison shirt. It's so funny. And again, just more little details on the harbor right here. You can see the warden walking around behind me. I love the way that you decorated this. So as you continue to explore the harbor area, you'll see that bookshop up there behind me that we're walking over to. I love the delineation of space between the different codes, kind of separating it. And I would be so interested, Matilda, to know if you've thought about, I don't know if you would, but we got so many new items for building that are making buildings in the game look different. So I don't know if that's something you would have thought about or considered. I feel like this build took you so long, I can't imagine it looking different, but you guys can see she made a lot of her buildings with simple panels and bookshelves. And when I say she made a lot of buildings, y'all aren't even ready. It's so cool, the amount of work that went into this. Okay, so now we are standing over by the guard tower. You can see the black tower up above me, and we're going to continue up these stairs. This tower up here, once upon a time, would have been used by armed guards to kind of, keep the island in check. And it would have also been equipped fully with all the facilities that they needed because it was round the clock, which that just kind of shows you the amount of hours that these guys were, patrolling the island and keeping watch. And then over here, we've got Sally Port, which is an armored, controlled entryway into the fortress of Alcatraz. So Alcatraz Island itself was, in the 1860s at least, the most fortified military site on the West Coast. It had over 100 cannons. You can see me kind of showing off those right here. And this area also would have had a guardhouse, and it would have been the area where they kept, the unruly soldiers during the Civil War or Confederate spies. And I love the way you built up this area with fencing and simple panels and the little standees that we have. And then as we move over here, we've got a post office that Matilda added. This was not a real place on Alcatraz. This area would have been the Officers Club that burned down in 1970, and there's only a shell of the building now, but we didn't have ruins before the update. So that's what I'm saying, dude. Are you thinking about redoing any areas now that we have some other things that you could use? It would just be so interesting, especially because we're seeing it now, how you've built everything with what you had, which, can we talk about these details? Look how cute these details are. Oh, it's just so cool. This was seriously one of my favorite islands I've ever toured. I feel like, Matilda, I always say that about your islands. I don't know, man. You're just really creative. I love your work. Look at this little, I thought this was such a cute little detail, and the little gulls again on top of the building. That's so cute to me. I love it. as we tour a prison. I'm out here being like, it's so cute. Oh my God. All right. Anyway, we have hit the warehouse and the powerhouse areas right now. This is going to be where all the power for the federal penitentiary and all the other buildings on the island are coming from. The building that we're looking at with Alcatraz written over it is the warehouse, which was a multi-use building made by the Army in 1921, and it's still in use today. So now it's used, for storage, as an office, and also as a workshop facility for the National Park Service, which kind of brings me, as I'm wandering back through this area, to my thoughts on the landscaping that you did, Matilda. I adore the color scheme you went with. I love the greenery that you incorporated. It keeps everything like, oh, look at that. It just keeps everything from feeling too harsh. Like, it's really, really cool. So I'm wandering right now over to Bird Rock, which we'll get back to. This was me kind of finding it and then being like, oh God, was I supposed to go the other way? You'll see me freak out in just a second. Because Matilda did give me kind of a wraparound tour, and I just really wanted to see the birds, so I got excited and wandered over here. But this is the parade ground. It's surprisingly not many parades were used over here, but we'll come back to it, don't worry. I just love that whole area with all the birds. I think it's such a cool little spot. So I've wandered back over to the main building and the guard tower. I'm kind of just, this whole tour, I was just making sure that I saw everything for you guys and that we really got all the details, because again, like, look at this little spot up here. Like, Matilda really did such a good job. Look at the little trash can. Like, I just love it. I love the way she incorporated everything. I think it just looks so cool. You can see me now kind of getting a glimpse of the morgue area and then realizing that I needed to go back down to continue my wraparound tour. So we're going back through Sallyport right now, back past the post office, which is not real, past the warehouse and the powerhouse. And I took another moment just to take in how cool this whole thing is. I just think, given the limitations that we had, you really showed off some talent here. Look how cool the museum looks. This is going to be the Model Industries building over here. I love the way you changed the landscape of it. This was a building built by the U.S. military. It was originally a laundry facility, and then later on it became an area where the inmates could go for workshops and a place where they could work. And you can see the villagers over there behind me. I thought that was so cool because they're literally like locked off on the island. It's almost like they're the mainland, which I think is really cool. And then as we continue over this way, I'm currently in front of the gardens, all of those yellow and orange flowers. And then this building behind me is the New Industries building. It was a part of the big Alcatraz renovation project in 1939. And it cost, just the building alone, $186,000. As Matilda said, big money. The ground floor would have been a clothing factory, a dry cleaning plant, a furniture plant, a brush factory, and an office. The entire upper floor became the laundry area after the other building was turned into the workshop space. And I just love, this was one of my favorite little sections. This is almost part of the Agave Trail, which we'll see in a little bit. I just thought this whole area was so beautiful. And down here is the gardens again. You can see those peeking out. Just so pretty. Again, the idea of like gardens and just the greenery and the pretty flowers that Matilda incorporated. As she said, it's a testament to the human spirit that they wanted this version on. It's basically a rock. It's a giant rock, and it's gray and sad, and there's a lot of dark history attached to it. And then there's all this beautiful nature incorporated into it. So now I'm wandering onto the parade ground, which, as I said, did not host many parades. Today, these grounds are used to host annual sunrise ceremonies, which celebrate Native American culture. We'll kind of get into that a little bit more when we go up to the cell house in a little bit. But this area is also known as Bird Rock. These are western gulls, not ducks. And they nest here, and they can get up to around 2,000 birds at one time, which I think is crazy. Just imagine, like, the smell and also the sound of all of those birds in one place. Must be crazy. So now I'm wandering back around, and I'm going to go back up onto this top tier level where I was talking about all the little details before. And we're going to come up to the area where the cell house and all of like the facilities are of the island. So Matilda was so funny when she was telling me about this. She was like, I think this kind of speaks for itself. But before we go up into the cell house behind me, this is the warden's house. And I love this little detail. Also, look at his pumpkin patch. What? Look at that. It's so cute. Oh my God, I love it. So this home at one point would have been like a very large mansion-style home for the warden and his family and any visitors of the island. It was burned down in 1970 when Native American activists occupied Alcatraz. I did a little bit of research just to know a little bit more. Native American culture and the struggles of their people is something really dear to me, so I wanted to know why that had happened. And from what I could tell, it seems that they were making a statement about past injustices and discrimination against them and their people, and they took over the entire island for 19 months to bring attention to that, which I thought was really important to put in. Yeah, it's just, as we're looking at this and kind of enjoying it for its beauty, because this adorable little cabin that Matilda made is incredible. I just wanted to kind of bring attention to it and remind everybody, the darker sides of the history as well, because I think especially doing it in Animal Crossing, it's almost easy to be like, oh my God, like, it's so beautiful, blah, 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 and kind of ignore the other side of it. But there was a lot that happened here that we should talk about or at least think about. So just wanted to toss that in. Up behind the warden's house, you can see Matilda added a place for the lighthouse, and then we move into the cell house area. And she did such a cool job with this place. Again, the delineation of the codes for the different areas. You can see there's like the little office where the guards would have been, and then we have the different cell rooms, and there's one open on the end that I'll go to in a second. And I just thought this whole little area, the attention to detail is so nice. And in here in the cell house, this would have also been where the dining hall and the recreation yard were. You can see she kind of delineated the space with different codes and things like that. So here's the dining hall in here. Again, I just love the attention to detail, the different tables used and the benches. It just looks so nice. And then as you come out here, you've got the recreation yard, and you can see for a second, you'll see the silo. I didn't go quite, see it right there. I didn't go quite close enough to it to get like a close-up shot, but that I believe is the water tower or water supply for the island. So Alcatraz itself didn't have a water supply of its own, so they had to import from the mainland, and that silo is meant to represent, the tanks that they stored it in. And that tower would have been subject to heavy graffiti during the time when the Native Americans were in control of the island, and it's now a cultural landmark, which I thought was interesting. And some of the text that you can see that can still be read says peace and freedom, welcome to the home of the free Indian land, and also free Indian land, Indians welcome. So again, just a very interesting touch that Matilda added, and the attention to detail. She really went above and beyond, like making sure all of those elements were in place. Again, here I am wandering through the gardens. I love them. Such a beautiful touch. I'm so glad she added them. And I'm back over near the New Industries and the Model Industries building, just kind of getting some more shots for you guys as I went back around in a big loop of the island to make sure we were getting shots of everything. Again, I just love all of the different little hidey holes and details that she packed into this place. It's super interesting to me to be able to see the way that she made it all fit together and make sense, and it really feels like you're touring the island when you go around it, especially if you don't do like me and you don't go crazy and wander and you just follow Matilda's instructions and go in a nice circle. It all makes sense. It's all good. So I'm realizing now as we're going through this and I'm getting back on Bird Rock, I don't know if I went back over to the morgue to get a really clear picture of. It's over near the cell house, and it was a place that was connected to a tunnel entrance that was used by soldiers to kind of cross to the island, like cross the different sides of the island quickly. But the morgue itself was supposedly only used once. There was a soldier who had passed away that wasn't able to get taken over to the mainland. He missed the boat. So he was held there, but there doesn't seem to be any other use of the morgue. The examination table, for instance, was never used for an autopsy. And now we are back. I'm taking some pictures because this is one of my favorite little spots. Again, I just think it's so interesting how this much nature and beauty can be hidden on this island. It's just so cool. So this is going to be the start to Agave Trail. And this is a trail on the southwest part of the island. And as Matilda said, you can kind of get a sense of Alcatraz lesser known natural beauty by experiencing the flora and fauna of the island all in one place. And she also said you may see some feathered friends here, which you can see kind of the gulls down here. And again, if you look over to the left as I'm wandering this beach, you can see that Matilda even decorated the rocks over there, which I just love that touch. I love that she made it feel well-rounded and completely decorated. It's so cool. She just did such a good job. I'm back on Bird Rock right now, kind of just taking a last stroll with the birdies. I just love this area. And I was really drawn to it, which is funny because it's literally just a rock. But I just loved it. I loved the wraparound back here to the water. This was one of my favorite parts as well. I think it just speaks to kind of the hidden natural beauty, exactly like Matilda said. And with that, we are done with our tour of Alcatraz. I hope you guys enjoyed. I know this was different than my normal tours, but I hope you liked the dose of history along with the creativity. Matilda, dude, you crushed this. You just did such a wonderful job. I loved learning so much more about something that's in my own country that I've never been to, never explored, never even really learned much about in history class. So this was really fun for me. And again, I know it was different, but I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you thought down below, and as always, I will have everything for Matilda linked for you so you guys can find her on Instagram and give her some love. She is the sweetest human and so creative, so kind, just all around wonderful. I love working with her. I love getting to be her friend. She's just the best, and I hope you guys will definitely go show her some love and let her know down below what you thought of the island. And for me, I will be back on Monday, hopefully with a speed build or a let's play. I'm not really sure yet. And I am trying my best to get another tour up on Friday as well. I have 2 more really cool islands that I've been waiting to tour and the creators have been waiting on me to tour. So I'm trying to get back on track with those, but just bear with me. And I'll see you guys as soon as I can. All right. I hope you're having a great one. Bye.